So yeah, we're back. I know last time I did say it was gonna be the last stream, but since we're still in October, we did get the secret movie. I might as well just do a bonus stream because A, we're still in October and I will not be around for November and December due to editing content and commission work. So I would just like to talk about FUGA. That's really what all this. I might just do a little bit of gameplay to make this a little entertaining, but really this is just gonna be shit chatting. It's funny how I like this is literally just gonna be improv. I've written down what I like to talk about, like FUGA 1 and 2, and then some of like the additional content within this game. For example, like files, comic pages, a little bit here and there. You're fine, P-Head. Alright, for context, everyone, I hop into a Discord call with P-Head and Unknown, some friends of mine in the Vibe Tribe. They were asking me and basically calling me a liar. No, I'm not calling people out, P-Head. I'm just stating a fact, like, thank you for... But at the same time, it's also a little reminder. Thank you. Anyway, moving on. So no, this stream is literally just about talking about FUGA. Yeah, that's just some inside humor, people. Anyway, we will miss you. I know, I will miss streaming. But who knows, maybe depends on like if I get everything done before like the end of the year. I might do a stream or two before the year actually ends. Who knows? But my plan is no streams. Focus on actually making content and commissions before the year ends. Because if I end the year without doing any of that shit, I'ma feel bad. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I will miss streaming and I will miss playing games. But this just means I get to plot some future streams and future games. I mean, I have 2 consoles. I have games on them that aren't PC related. Who knows? Plus, I kind of got some big plans next year anyway, so all the yeah. I want to do my commission for you when you're doing mine for me. Fair enough. We still need to talk about that, but not right now. Anyway, as I was saying, I find it funny how I list a few things I'd like to talk about, like FUGA 1, 2, some of the logs or files that we have in the library. That's kind of the whole reason why I have the game set up in New Game Plus on the save file we just beaten. So this is New Game Plus. We're starting over from the beginning, but we still have all the, we still have pretty much everything. So anyway, there's also a few things I'd like to talk about when involving Solot Robo, which is pretty much the future of Shepherd Archipelago, where this story takes place. As well, before we end stream, we're going to watch the secret movie. Hi Azure, welcome in. We're gonna watch the secret movie again because I gotta say, it blew everything I thought. I actually was cooking up theories how FUGA 3 was going to turn out. So we're gonna talk about Solot Robo and a few concepts here and there, theories. Watch the secret movie, and then basically kind of like break down like one of those theorist YouTubers sort of thing. You know how like basically we're gonna Five Nights at Freddy's theorize the shit out of this game. That's basically what this is gonna be. And also I guess point out like some few tips and tricks of what I've learned and how to unlock the gears. Because, holy shit, it took way much longer to actually unlock all the gears in this game than it did the first. Sounds poggers. Yeah. I'm mostly a bit scatterbrained on this. Like, this is like a last minute thing, so I planned nothing. I planned nothing of this. This is gonna be me talking hold on, let me rephrase this. As I am bad at English, I'm just gonna be talking my ass off. But to catch everyone up to speed, let's talk about FUGA 1 and the story around that. So, for those of you who are out of the loop, recently I've been playing a game series known as FUGA Melodies of Steel, which is currently what we're playing, sort of. And it takes place on the floating island of Gasco. People were just living their lives normally until the Berman Empire decided to invade the land of Gasco. The long and short is child soldiers, aka small cannon P-head. Really? I knew I should have just recorded this. Nah, you know what? If I recorded this, I would do too many retakes. I know it's not a lie, but spoilers! Spoilers! I know I played this game for like a few months now, but seriously. Anyway, so yeah, unfortunately P-head's not wrong. In a sense. So anyway, when the Berman attacked, a group of children rushed to the cave, to a forbidden cave where they would seek shelter. And there they found a mysterious tank, called the TARANIS. After that, they decided to use the tank in order to save their families. Around that time, they also learned of the devastating weapon that P.I. is basically referring to, when it comes to cannon fodder. They learned that the TARANIS is equipped with a weapon known as the Soul Cannon, which can literally eradicate any enemy before them, at the cost of a child's life. Yeah. From there, after defeating Colonel Pretzel, who attacked their village of Petite Mona, the children set out to find their families and hunt down, basically, not hunt down, but to find them. To find them while going across all of Gasco. Along the way, they meet new children who have been also abandoned because of the war and their families being taken. Speaking of which, I should go over to the characters and introduce some of them. Note that this is the dialogue from FUGA 2. I would go over to FUGA 1, but at the same time, I just don't want to close the game. But to introduce the characters of the story of FUGA 1 and 2, allow me to share some of their details. We have the main character, Malt Marzipan, a Kinainu and 13 years old, the eldest of the group of children from Petite Mona. The arduous conflict a year past granted him a sober maturity. By the same token, he now finds himself in the world-weary pitfall of jaded cynicism, if I'm even pronouncing that word correctly. So anyway, we have Malt, Hana, Kyle, Boron, Sox, May, Chick, Hack, Sheena, Jin, Wappa, Brits, and these were the 12 main characters from FUGA 1. And then, yeah, as they journeyed along throughout Gasco in search of their families and meeting new friends, they encountered the person who led the invasion of Gasco. Shvein Hax was his name, and he had a tank similar to the TARANIS, which is actually surprising. It was, I want to say the TARASCUS is custom made with the core of a very destructive weapon as its heart and its main core, known as the Vanargand. or Vanargand's heart. That's what the TARASCUS was made around. Hax then declares to use the TARASCUS to revive the lost god Vanargand, a very destructive weapon left behind from the old world. In such, Hax did achieve... Sorry. Had to clear my throat. Hax did achieve reviving the Vanargand, but the children infiltrated Peresia, where Vanargand slumbered, and Peresia used to be the capital of Gasco. From there, the children infiltrated the insides of the Vanargand, took out the TARASCUS, and technically saved Gasco. The downside is Gasco was split into a wide archipelago. So now, with Gasco pretty much divided, the people of Gasco then needed to, well, adapt. They used the Berman technology to make airships and be able to go from like port to port to get all the parts they need, resources to rebuild. Yeah, to get the resources to rebuild Gasco in its entirety, and a new capital known as Pharaoh. And if you know Pharaoh and the archipelago I'm referring to, you have definitely played Solo to Robo. I haven't, I've just watched gameplay, and I would love to talk about that and the connections it has to FUGA. And in FUGA 2, this game takes place 1 year later. The children were living happy lives until they were invited by the military of Gasco to basically help them conduct research of the TARANIS, the tank that sought them through the war 1 year ago. But something went wrong. 5 of the children were captured on board the TARANIS, and it went out of control. The children then... Well, actually, before all that, allow me to introduce a new character, Vanilla. The president's youngest daughter. So President Muscat lost his life when the TARANIS, well, quote-unquote, lost his life when the TARANIS went out of control. So Vanilla gave express permission for the children to use the salvaged TARASCUS, which somehow rebuilt itself after the battle 1 year ago. Now the children are using the TARASCUS to hunt down the TARANIS in order to save their friends. A few chapters later, after rescuing some of them... No audio? What do you mean no audio? I have audio. I'm speaking in my mic. Can anyone hear me? Hold on. Damn it. What the hell? Alright, Azure hears me. But for whatever reason, I can't hear the... Oh, wait. I forgot. I muted Twitch. The Twitch site. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's audio. I don't know what's on your end, P-head. Anyway. Minor inconvenience. So Vanilla gave express permission on President's behalf for the children to use the TARASCUS. A few chapters later, and saving some of their friends, they cornered the TARANIS, only to learn that someone else was piloting the TARANIS. And after a failed... Well, actually, they saved Brits, and Hana... Brits and Hana were the only ones left to be rescued. They successfully rescued Brits. But something happened during the teleportation to bring Hana back. Which, in a sense, it killed Hana. And then... oh yeah. I'll introduce some of these characters in a minute. And this was the culprit who was operating the TARANIS, Jill. A mysterious boy found in the TARANIS, his strange psychic powers allow him to levitate and control the children through powerful mind control. There is more details to this. Oh! Real identity. So yeah, so this is who Jill really is. A hybrid android. I did not know he was an android, though it does make sense. A mysterious boy found in the TARANIS, an android created in the Old World era. He was subject to severe mental and physical duress during experiments aimed at making him a bioweapon. So there's more context to all of this. And a lot of these characters as well. But our companions that also joined us were Berman Generals, I believe. Who the children actually captured. Because, well, for reasons. For certain reasons, the children just captured them and let them stay aboard. Instead of taking them back because they were too busy with a lot of other things. God damn, 88 and he's still serving? That's crazy. So yeah, Bomb and Stolen are the grandpas that are basically traveling with the children. And then there's Hax. This was the bastard that... Alright, I'll wait till the ads are done. Wow, okay. I see how it is. Actually, could I disable ads? I mean, I should be able to. Whatever. Anyway, so, Shvein Hax. This is the bastard that attacked Gasco, a year prior to FUGA 2. The former supreme commander of the Gasco invasion forces, although he perished in the war a year ago, his consciousness lives on as an AI core that controls the TARASCUS. So these three are basically just trailing along with the children as they progress through the story and going through Gasco in order to stop a tank that Jill actually recovered. He abandoned the TARANIS and found the Belenos. It's a tank kind of similar to the TARANIS, but with a different purpose in mind. So Jill found the Belenos, which caused Hana's teleportation to be interrupted, in essence, killing her. This enraged the children, and I guess in a weird sense, in response to the children's feelings, the TARANIS and the TARASCUS somehow merged together into the Exo-TARANIS. Which was like a combination between... Sorry, that was my controller. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So the TARASCUS and the TARANIS kind of like merged together to form the Exo-TARANIS, which is like a combination between the TARASCUS and the TARANIS, having all their features and whatnot. So that's who we've been, well, assigned with as the main cast. This whole group of people. And then we have some side characters over here. General Merlot, the Chief General and Supreme Commander of the Gasco Army, though outwardly gruff and fierce, he is a compassionate man with a soft spot for children. He is a close friend to the president, who unfortunately is no longer with us. And then there's Coronel Muscat, a lieutenant in the Gasco Army and right-hand officer to General Merlot. Muscat is the president's eldest daughter, but she chose I cannot English. But she chose to defend Gasco via the military versus the political sphere. She is concerned for her sister Vanilla. Sorry, English. I hate English. No way in hell I'm going to try and pronounce some of these words. And then, President Muscat, the de facto political head of Gasco, a pacifist whose primary focus is on domestic policy. His late wife passed half a year ago in a tragic accident, which almost left him covered in severe burns. But here's the real identity. The de facto political head of Gasco, in truth, Kane killed both him and his wife in a staged accident half a year ago, and he has since been replaced by an illusion. Speaking of Kane, here he is. Kane Raisling. I think that's how it is pronounced. I don't know. Vanilla's former tutor, calm and collected, Kane is a strong believer in justice who does not easily forgive and forget. His family perished in the war against Berman. He caused the accident that claimed the lives of President Muscat and his wife half a year ago. We'll get into that in a minute. Well, actually, we'll explain it now. After the TARANIS evolved into the Exo-TARANIS, the children then chased after Gilles and the Belenos. Malt chased after them for revenge. Malt went off the rails for a long while. After the death of Hana, he just basically went crazy. It's pronounced Kain. Oh! Huh. I guess that does kind of make sense, given most of the names are named after food. Alright, thank you, Azure. That actually helps out a lot. I mean, but to me, it reads Kane. Just spelled differently. Anyway, so Malt went off the rails for vengeance in order to avenge Hana and to kill Gilles. Meanwhile, the other children are still conflicted and mourning over the death of Hana until Wappa arrives after a solo journey. She reunites with the children and starts helping them sort things out. But Malt is still going off the rails and just extremely depressed. And then they reunite with Jin because the Exo-TARANIS does need some fine-tuning, and Jin has the expertise to do so because he works as a mechanic at his late father's factory. Jin was able to talk Malt down from seeking only revenge and find a way to honor Hana's memory. At the end of that specific chapter, however, they learn that Hana may still be alive. So after chasing down the TARANIS, the Belenos once again, they did find out Hana was technically alive, but Hana is in the same situation as Hax is. She somehow became the core AI of the Belenos, which puts the children in a predicament. Because they had to stop the Belenos from wreaking havoc all over Gasco, but if they destroyed the Belenos, they would also destroy Hana. So all it is just this turmoil of conflicting thoughts. Because the children are currently obligated to protect the people of Gasco, but also need to find a way to save their friend in some way. later in the next few chapters, Gilles has been going around Gasco in search of generators to upgrade the Belenos and complete it. The Belenos has the ability to revive the dead and revive machinery. So that kind of basically where the combat in this game takes place, kind of just beating up zombified tanks from the old Berman War. So Gilles is going around collecting these generators, but every time he uses them, he loses a part of himself. Hana, being Hana, a kind and blessed soul, is trying to basically talk Gilles down from taking on this pointless vendetta. So, in the last encounter where they fight Gilles, Hana was able to deliver a encrypted video log, which she gave Malt and the others in order to basically restore and show Gilles that his vendetta was pointless and not miscommunicated, but misguided. Even still, he still searched for the final generator in order to fulfill his new promise and bring Hana back to life. But when he did, the person who was basically giving Gilles coordinates to find these generators was none other than Kane, impersonating President Muscat. Hold on, I'm trying to find more words. Anyway, Gilles was tricked by Kane. I'm just gonna say Kane because it's gonna be easier for me to remember. Gilles was tricked by Kane, who is now trapped inside the Belenos, while Kane now operates the Belenos in order to revive the Vanargand to bring vengeance upon Berman and Gasco. Berman for taking his family, Gasco for stopping him from achieving his vengeance, claiming it to be justice. And even though we did beat him in the boss fight before the final boss, Kane uses a spell to hypnotize Vanilla, and, well, you pretty much used her to blow up the engine room in the TARANIS. From there, Kane fired an attack which, in a sense, knocked out the children. At first, we thought they were dead. But that's not the case. In this kind of like subspace manner where we encounter the... Oh shit. A bit of a connection issue. I'm sorry, my internet's been a little wonky lately. Anyway, throughout FUGA 2, Malt keeps experiencing this weird phenomenon where he's trapped in this little, I want to say, digital space. Basically, the core of the TARANIS / TARASCUS. I don't know. I have theories. These are where the theories come in. But in this little space, we meet Maestro, a mysterious figure who dons an extravagant suit and the mask of a plague doctor. He offers insight yet enigmatic advice to Malt as he wanders in the deep depths. And then there's Count Nuvaloon, another mysterious man who delivers the latest issues of the Adventures of Sucre to the children. He models his look based on Count Nuvaloon, a character from the self-same comic. And then, oh yeah, this is the person who was in the video log that kind of like calmed Gilles down during, what the hell? What is my Fugi was just not Fugi, my PNG tuber was acting up. Sorry about that. But anyway, this is just telling us, like, this is who she is. The female engineer oversaw the creation of artificial beings like Gilles in the old world. However, seeing her creation suffer with each new experiment broke her heart, intensifying the weight of her guilt each passing day. So, Oh wow, age at death. That's kind of dark. And 28? You learn something new every day. But anyway, so not Count Nuvola, Maestro basically helps Molt wander around and kind of like consoles the children on board the Exo-TARANIS to change the future. And then once they wake up, they find themselves buried in a Crusade facility. Which, note, Crusade is the place that developed the TARANIS. Yeah, that developed the TARANIS and the Belenos. So I guess in a way, in a weird sense, if you really think about it, the TARANIS and the Belenos are siblings. Sibling tanks made by the same corporation, company, whatever you want to call it. But still, these guys are mysterious. And speaking of the comics, I have theories that are related. I want to point out, I never really read the comics of Sucre because I didn't have any interest in them. As much as I love comics, I just had no interest for a comic page in a video game that I love more than a comic. But there is something in the comic pages that is a reference, kind of like an insight of the old world. I am just learning about this now, but like, I wouldn't have known. I just figured it out through pure curiosity. And allow me to show you. So, let me see. Let me find the specific page I'm referring to. Yes, Juno. This is what I would like to talk about later in the game. Well, not later in the game, later in this stream. But anyway, moving on with the story. After escaping the crumbled facility of a Crusade facility, the children, with the help of Gasco, went back to Pharaoh in order to stop the Vanargand, which was revived by Cain using the Belenos, which had the ability to resurrect the Vanargand. And, if you get the true ending, the children swear on their tails to save everyone and not resort to using the Soul Can to beat Cain. So Hax made a proposition. Using the power of the TARASCUS, which was infused to the TARANIS, he somehow converted it into energy and allowing the Soul Can to be fired once, without the sacrifice of the children's lives. But later we learn that Hax technically sacrificed himself. So now, Hax is gone. Hax is officially gone. And a few weeks later, after rescuing Hana, actually, let's talk about that. Right after the battle between Cain and the Vanargand, the children went down to the wreckage of the Belenos to find an empty cockpit. But after a few moments, kind of similar to the teleportation effect that the TARANIS and the TARASCUS have, Hana reappeared in the cockpit of the Belenos. Gilles gave his life in order to bring Hana back. So, with all but one of the children saved, the children went back to their daily lives and regained the peace that they wholeheartedly deserve. Then, a few months later, they received a letter from the Gasco Army for another reason: to send the TARANIS crumbling down to the old world. So originally, or I guess supposedly, the TARANIS was supposed to be gone. In essence, this was supposed to be the final story, or the final game. But then, there's a cliffhanger. If you get the true ending, you learn that you will get a cliffhanger. And that's kind of, I'm not going to say really anymore, because I will explain after the secret movie and just dissect it here and there. But the secret movie is involved with the cliffhanger, obviously. But I also kind of want to look through the library and just see the things that we got. All the locations we've been to, link events, we've already gone through all of them, so I'm not going to do them again. The end cards, however, are some of my favorite things. When you clear a chapter, you get beautiful art made by amazingly talented artists, and I love every single one of them. But I want to say Chapter 11 is my favorite. I just love this particular piece. It's a little sad that Vanilla's actually not in there. Because we have all the children save for Hana and Vanilla. I never noticed that. It is very good. I agree. It is probably my favorite. And then we have all these illustrations. So basically like the, kind of like quote-unquote cutscenes that we get here and there. So the reunion with the TARANIS. This is the TARANIS before things went, well, downhill. Big old tank. And then this is the children after the war. Oh, just seeing all this is just, it just makes me happy. No. I like this one. This one especially is my favorite. And of course there's Wappa. Quote-unquote President Muscat and his daughters. Keneal, and then there's Vanilla. TARANIS opens fire, the rampage. Oh, animated this time. In the first game, I don't think there were any real animated illustrations, but this is cool. And then the resurrected heart of the god of destruction. This is what the TARASCUS looked like. So, really, like I said, it's similar to the TARANIS. The TARASCUS rides again. It looks more of a monster and actually like a beast than the TARANIS. The TARANIS just looks like a giant old fortress. Meanwhile, this looks like a legit monster. Friends torn apart. Yeah. When the children were hypnotized by Gilles. Ugh. Oh, Molt's nightmare. Oh yeah, so throughout FUGA 2, your goal is basically to save the children. This is just a cutscene. And during a nightmare where May, Malt's sister, was fired in the soul cannon. Fortunately, we prevented that from happening. But this is footage of the soul cannon chamber. Basically saying, it's basically telling you, you gotta find a way to save them. Nightmarish light. Oh yeah. Ooh. Howl of the Lunar Wolf. Interesting. So, that's pretty much how that's the TARASCUS, basically. Anti-annihilation. Light of Despair. Resonant giant tanks. Yeah, alright, this is where the TARASCUS somehow gained the ability to teleport. From literally just ramming into the TARANIS. May's Reawakening. Oh, another animated piece. May's Rescue. The Boy in the Straitjacket, where we first meet Jill, and Hana's perspective inside the TARANIS as a captive. Captured Boron. Yep. Boron and Sox's rescue. The wandering elderly generals. So yeah, the funny story about these two, after the children literally kicked their asses 1 year ago, these two are basically just wandering around Gasco, just trying to stay out of sight, out of mind. And when they saw the TARASCUS, which is initially a Berman tank, they thought they were saved. They were wrong. Memory of the Vanargand. Yeah. Big Angie Beast. The Crusade Temple. Encounter with the Belanos. So yeah, on the left, that is the TARANIS, and then this silhouette is... Okay, watching from work, can hear diddly. That's fine. And this silhouette is the Belanos, but we'll get an actual picture of the Belanos in a moment. Oh my god, I'm just realizing how many illustrations there are. They committed. CyberConnect 2 definitely commits to everything, because despite the situation and the story, all of these are amazing art pieces. Teleported Brits. Hana's Afterglow. Oh. So yeah, this was the part where the teleportation to bring Hana back failed. And yeah, that basically says it all. This is what happened and what caused Hana's teleportation to fail. They were attacked by the Belanos. Yep. Oh. And of course, this is the memory that Malt... This is one of Malt's memories of... Not Hana. Oh, no. Oh my god. Dino English! So the dark thing about this particular scene, in the game, as this picture pops up, it kind of like fades into this red hue and pretty much crosses out Hana. Which also happens whenever you sacrifice a child, and when they would normally be in that cutscene, the child that was sacrificed is crossed out. So that basically is a sense that Hana's gone. And then we have the grotesque Titan Belanos, which I gotta say, this looks badass. Flare of Rage. Yeah. Malt Angie. Steel Demon with the heart of a god. And this is the Exo TARANIS. And as I said, it kind of resembles both the TARASCUS and the TARANIS. Don't know why it has that horn though. That horn is just... I want to say it's just there. And I need to mute my phone. Hang on. The solitary caged bird. Yep. Downhearted. This was the aftermath of Hana's death. The cost of fury. Yeah, Malt made a very bad choice. And after you get the Exo TARANIS, Hax, the AI, kind of just randomly selects a child to be sacrificed. There is a time limit, so you have a chance to save the child. But in the first game, you actually make the choice. In this game, a child is randomly selected, save for Malt and Vanilla for story reasons. But in this cutscene, Malt makes a very bad choice, and thus cost him his life. A new forbidden weapon? No, I wouldn't say it a new forbidden weapon, it's still the same. and then the incarnation of vengeance. So, alright. To explain some of the things, how Malt is still alive after being fired from the Soul Cannon, the TARANIS somehow has this ability to rewind time, or has the ability to control time itself. I don't know how, or why, or what the reason is. I have theories. Anyway, so after that poorly made decision, Malt was able to rewind in time and remember the situation. So, and they successfully defeat the boss of this chapter, but he held every single emotion in because he was the oldest. Because he was the oldest, he thought to himself that he didn't need to express how he felt or to shed tears. But now he walks away for a moment and just wails. And as it says, grief over the loss of Hana, regret over causing his friends pain, remorse at his own unworthiness, this complex cocktail of emotions exploded within Malt, resulting in a lamenting wail of anguish. And this part, he swears to enact revenge on Jill, declaring he will kill him. And then there's the return of Wappa, all happy-go-lucky. Yeah. I still hate... I would have been fine if the Berman Geists, the resurrected tanks, were just like rusted or just battered. They did not need to look like this. I'm just gonna point that out right now. Personal pet peeve. That's hideous. The grateful villagers, which the children were able to save a village from being completely destroyed, and no one was killed. But Malt still thinks he's unworthy. Then we reunite with Jin. And then this is the part where Jin kind of has like a talk with Malt, just to try and understand what happened. And as it says, he soon discovers that Malt's spirits were more broken than any part of the tank's machinery. And then the speechless woman, which I know who she is. It's Flom from FUGA 1. The same woman that actually took Jin's father. Well, took the life of Jin's father. Jin originally wanted to kill her. Kind of like how Malt wanted to kill Jill. But Jin finds peace and rescued Flom. And if Dash was here, she'd be screaming because she hates Flom. The Ancient Altar. This is one of the generators I was talking about for the Belenos. So this is Generator 1. And Jill breaks free from his restraints. And a power unleashed. The first fight with the Belenos. The second altar. Which I kind of funny how the colors of this represents like the main cannon. This represents the the machine gun. Another power unleashed. Overload. This is where basically Jill goes a little bit crazy. Hana in the Belenos. This is the part where we learn Hana is now the AI of the Belenos. Complicated hope. Excessive force. Yeah, look. Ugly as hell. Is what that is. I mean, if you want a Fuga pick that is Halloween related, well, guess what? Here's your Halloween pick for Fuga. Because that's horrifying. Disturbing, horrifying, and disgusting. All in one. New power unleashed as well. Altar 3. And that's basically the grenade launcher. Secret of the Belenos. 1? What? So is there another, or... a message from the past? Oh, okay, here it is. Secret of the Belenos 2. Surprise attack from behind the wall. This time they were prepared. Jill scored to settle. And this is the Belenos before it's completed. Because there's 4 generators for it in order to be completed. I gotta say, like, the little head, where, like, that purple circle around it, I like to think that the head of it, its head looks kind of like a knight's helmet. That's what it reminds me of. But at the same time, the workings of it, ugh. Oh, I just now noticed this. Oh wait, no, that's the spine. Ugh. I hate it. I hate the spine part. Everything else about the Belenos is cool as hell. Apart from the spine, I hate it. Jill the hybrid. This is where we learn about Jill's past and his real identity. The everyday life of Jill and the engineer. I mean, yeah, it does make sense. So yeah, these next few parts are Jill's backstories, and the truth. Alter 4, where he gets the last generator, and then things go downhill. This is what the Belenos looks like completed. And I gotta say, I like this golden form better. Because in the boss fight, with Kain and the Belenos, it did not look like this. But this is the form I actually prefer. It looks cool. I will say it looks cool. And it's ready to blast the children to hell. Oh yeah, and this is the part where Kain tricked Jill and basically, yep, set a booby trap. The man behind the curtain. The man who stole the Belenos. Memory of the accident. And the truth behind the accident. Vanilla and Kain. Vanilla and her caring parents. The final lesson. And this is... And depending on how the situation goes, you could either lose Vanilla or save Vanilla. The completed Belenos. This is the part where we got blasted to hell. The Belenos takes to the skies to revive Vanargand, the corpse of the god of annihilation. And that's the remains of the Vanargand after FUGA 1. Puppet Master. Ugh. But nah, this is basically how the Belenos revived the Vanargand. Which is, I still have to say, it is impressive and incredible that a machine literally this size, compared to the Vanargand, was able to bring back this big-ass monster. Pandora's Box? I would like to say that's an odd name, but you know what? I'm cool with it. Using the power of both Vanargand and Belenos, they revived a lot of the Berman airships that were left behind in Gasco, and then wreak havoc upon Gasco. Rendezvousing with Lieutenant Muscat, to the front lines, the invasion of Gasco, yep. Where everything started going to shit even more. Confronting the Vanargand. Vanargand literally destroying every airship in sight. Merlot's outburst. shockwaves in the sky, which prevented us from getting closer to the Vanargand from the air. And as this picture says, the Vanargand alighted right next to Pharaoh as if to mock the powerlessness of the Gasco Army. The Mice and the Elephant. That is actually a really good title because, goddamn. Again, look at the difference in size between the TARANIS and the Vanargand. Funny and crazy. The mice bite back. Ascending the mad beast. We yeet into the old city of Peresia. The puppet god. The Vanargand rises again. Freed from hindrance. The airborne tank. Which, actually, the old Berman generals that we held captive actually helped out for once. Docking. And the Gasco Army strikes back, and I gotta say, this is amazing. Cain, one with God. Still find that this particular piece disturbing. Jill's last stand. This is where they break free from the Vanargand. Jill, using the last of the power of his control and power of the Belenos, they detach themselves from the Vanargand and fall to at least one of the islands of Gasco. Well, alright. They land in a portion near Pharaoh. Full spirit. So regardless, the Soul Cannon is pretty much the only way to defeat the final boss. But there is a way to prevent the Soul Cannon from taking the life of children. In this part, at Hax's suggestion, the group attempted to convert the TARASCUS core into energy rather than taking the lives of one of the children. With the TARASCUS stripped away into particles, the TARANIS returned to its original state. The golden shot. I still think this is awesome. I did try to, for my PNG tuber, I did try to replicate hero mode and the golden shot. So like, hold on, this is my hero mode, which I try to resemble to like their eyes and whenever in battle. Because I thought it'd be cool. I thought it would be a cool little feature I could do. So whenever one of them went into hero mode, I would convert my PNG tuber to hero mode as well. And then, the golden shot, which is pretty much this. The golden shot PNG tubers are still in the works, sort of. I did my best to replicate, not replicate, but kind of copy in a way, but as you can see, it doesn't really mesh well. It doesn't mesh that well, but I am proud of how I did the eyes. I'm proud of how I made that golden shot PNG tuber anyway. Soul conversion. In order to take one final shot, Hax converted the TARASCUS core into energy, offering up his very existence in the process. The golden soul cannon, yep. I love how we get the actual cinematic effect. My response to this was, so no head? That is still, I still have to say, that's awesome. The Vanargand put to rest once more. Soul Drain victory. Yep, and there's the TARANIS returning to normal. Even the airship has taken a big beating. Right, this is the part where they go to search the Belenos in order to find Hana or Jill. But there's no sign of life. A long-awaited miracle. Alright, and the description for this one, the children continued their search, praying they would find some trace, when suddenly the empty cockpit was filled with light. The brilliant spectacle slowly took shape. It was none other than Hana, the friend they had yearned after for so long. And this is where Gilles sacrificed his life in order to bring Hana back to life, using what power was left in the Belenos. And then, basically, one of the final cutscenes, the children racing in Petite Mona. And the second part to this, which includes Gilles. And I guess in a sense, Malt and Gilles actually found kind of peace with each other. They found peace. So although Gilles is no longer with them, in spirit, he is among them. Farewell, comrade. And this is where they tell the TARANIS goodbye. Because the TARANIS was too much for even Gasco and is a major threat to everyone. So, they say goodbye. The Steel Fort... And this is the original, where the TARANIS just returned to normal. And with the normal bad end... I want to say a normal ending, which is, I guess, still in a sense a bad ending. Depending on the circumstances and situations, and if the soul cannon was fired or Vanilla could not be saved, this was another solution to an ending where Hana and Gilles agreed to sacrifice themselves to destroy the Belenos so that the children can have a shot at actually destroying the Vanargand. Glorious, furious death. And this is what happens to Malt. With and bear in mind, this is for the normal / bad ending. Right after the Belenos explodes. With Hana now truly lost after the destruction of the Belenos, fury and despair left Malt overcome with a lust for revenge, and found him making his way to the Forbidden Room. The pride of success. Sort of. Nah. Ooh. And this is the future where Malt and Hana are gone. And in this piece, we just see the Exo-TARANIS instead of the normal and regular TARANIS. Wait, what? I missed something? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. What the fuck did I miss? What? I'm so confused now. I actually thought I 100% everything. But I'm missing something. No! Maybe for an everyone dies ending. No, because I got the bad ending. I completed the bad ending where no one survived. Oh! Wait, actually, no, you're right. Azure, you're actually right. Because I just remembered, there is another piece, and it is for the bad ending. Instead of, like, the children being there, kind of like this, and crossed out, it was just the Exo-TARANIS with some Gasco soldiers. It does not show the children because the children were gone. So yeah, that's what I'm missing. This is the save file where I kind of fucked up. So, I could probably go to my other save file and, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Later developments, and this is the children now after the war. Well, not war. After the long battle that they endured. So we got Hana and Kyle reading books. Sox is, of course, studying Berman airships. And Boron's being Boron. Snacking. Wappa visiting the twins' place. Of course, Hack pulling pranks. And I love how in this pic, Chick's just... I give up. I give up. Sheena and... I don't know who's visiting who, but Brits and Sheena showing Brits' sister magic that Sheena can use. And of course there's Sheena's mother and sister in the background. And then there's Jin still tending to Flom. And after learning the truth of their parents, Camille and Vanilla visiting their parents' graves. And then, of course, I love this, just Malt and May just hanging out. Oh. And this is where the cliffhanger comes into play. In the first game, there was a voice over the radio that told the children to seek refuge. The same cave where they found the TARANIS. Malt, in this pic, Malt is, I want to say, experiencing deja vu. Malt awoke one night to static coming through the radio. Apprehension flooded over him. Before the forbidden cave, and unable to shake the feeling that he had been called towards something, Malt made his way to the forbidden cave. And then we learn that the TARANIS is back. Somehow. After falling into the old world, the TARANIS is back. Following the strange calling, Malt continued deep into the cave and found the TARANIS, which he himself watched sink into the clouds, enshrined there. And not only that, but there is more to it. Scrap fishing. This is kind of like the pictures we get throughout the game. With more of the children, so there's Socks. Oh! The background also changed too. Oh my, how did I not notice any of this? A workshop. Not that much of a difference. This picture is so, it's still so funny. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And then there's Jin just like, yeah, I got this. Mess room. And with more of the children. Children in the garden. I like how it's just a switch between Boron and Hack. Animal shed. One with Vanilla, who is terrible at tending animals. And then there's Wappa. The dormitory. Laundry room. God damn it, Wappa. Wait, what? There was another? Okay, now I need to figure out what the hell this one is. What? Alright. I do know that this one, for sure, is the bad ending. But what the hell is this one? What are you? What are you? Damn it! Really thought I'd 100%, but no! Fuck! Oh well, I'll probably play this game again in my own spare time, and just for the fun of it. But anyway, what I also really want to get to is the files. Oh my god, there's so much. Okay, maybe not, but I'm glad to see I'm not missing any of the archives. Okay. Oh! And of course, the endings. There's the true ending, the normal ending. Oh! Alright, so anyway. The true ending, mustering up all of his strength, Gilles regains self-control, aiding the ever-determined Malt and his comrades in defeating Cain. Thanks to Hax's quick thinking, and once all was said and done, a long-wished-for miracle was made a reality at last. And then the normal ending, with Gilles and Hannah's self-sacrifice and Malt's own life offered to take one final shot, Cain was at last defeated and peace returned to Gasco once more, but at what cost? Unlock conditions, all children are dead upon clearing the game. I love how to say, I love that they have like endings and the conditions. So this is the bad ending. And then this one's the true resolution, or like the resolution epilogue. Because we also have the empathy epilogue. So yeah, I will admit, I did not 100% this game entirely, but you know what? I'm glad what I have achieved. I got what I wanted, the secret movie. That's all I really care about. I'll do everything else later. And then there's the empathy epilogue. Malt and his companions worked hand in hand, supporting one another in their fight to restore peace to Gasco. Their names will surely go down in Gasco's history. Oh! Ooh! Alright, and of course I'm missing one. So these are empathy and resolution events depending on like, how much empathy or resolution you have throughout the progression of the game. That's cool. Oh wait, wait, hold on, there was more. Canon events? Wait, what? Oh! Right, okay. This is what happens. Okay, so it's not all random. Wait, chapter 4, like, oh wait, never mind, it is random. So chapter 4, you have access to the soul cannon. Pretty much. So all of these are last words. That's haunting. Survival events? Ooh. Yeah, on this file, well, on this save file in particular, I did not do the bad ending, so of course a lot of these are still like, well, clearly locked. And there's still more? Survival events. Ah, okay. Just everyone at the port. Sweet! Alright, I'm actually now going to go back to the title. I got done what I wanted to do in the game. Now I can go back to the title and get ourselves ready for the secret movie. But before I play the secret movie, I want to talk about kind of like some theories and, well, original theories I had before seeing the secret movie, as well as like the Juno that was mentioned in the comics of Sucre and Solatorobo and its connections to FUGA. FUGA is pretty much a prequel to Solatorobo, at least kind of like where the Shepherd Archipelago came to be. Because in Solatorobo, the main story takes place in the Shepherd Archipelago, or Shepherd Republic. And now, even though it's called Gasco, the island work is pretty much the same. Far from a few things, it's still the same. And in FUGA 1, it is referred to as the Shepherd Archipelago. I started watching Solatorobo not too long ago, watched all gameplay of it, just to see, like, the story and how it was. I'm like, I want to play this game, but I can't because DS games are basically extremely rare, and Solatorobo is one of those extremely rare games. So damn it. So watching the gameplay and kind of like paid attention to the story a little here and pay attention to the story here and there. Juno is the name of the technology that the humans had acquired, because the old world actually refers to Earth. So, in a sense, we're still on Earth. But, using the power of the Juno, humanity basically reset. Using the power of Juno, they created the machines such as the Vanargand, the TARANIS, as well as the Belenos. They used the Juno to create those kinds of weapons, including like beasts and weapons in Solatorobo, and Tail Concerto, which is also part of the Little Tail Bronx series, as FUGA and Solatorobo, and others. But I wouldn't know much of them. I just know that the series exists. This is literally, to me, furry Final Fantasy. What else? Hold on, I'm getting pinged on Discord. Alright. I'll get to that later. It's commission work from someone else. Anyway. But yeah. So my theory is, after the events of FUGA 1, and basically how that story went, Malt somehow became connected to the Juno. That's how he can remember the events. When you fail the game or get a game over, you basically rewind time. And Malt, in this game, remembers everything. In the first game, the children don't remember anything, but they do experience deja vu. Malt, however, remembers. Somehow, for whatever reason, he remembers. And I have a theory that it's connected to the Juno within the TARANIS. The TARANIS could be some special exception to the rule and different compared to everything else. But I wouldn't know. I do not know much about it. And I don't really want to spoil myself of anything. I just want a third game to come out to finally learn. I want to know. But this is just what I've gathered looking at Solatorobo and FUGA. And just some of the similarities. Because Solatorobo is like many, many years in the future. And FUGA is just the prequel. But yeah, the Juno, humanity acquired the Juno, created all these like destructive, devastating weapons using that technology, but it was also leading to their inevitable destruction. So a group of humans used the power of Juno to quote-unquote reset the world, which gave life to the Felinicos and Caninus, which now inhabit this world. How does it fetch 100% it? Well, to be honest, I didn't really 100% everything. I am still missing some shit, and I'm mad. I am mad that I missed a lot. Alright, in essence, I missed a lot. I have save files which kind of make up for it, but at the same time, I missed something, and it infuriates me. Ah! God damn it! Like, I'm not really mad, but it irks me. Like, I played this game so many times, I still love it, but god damn it, game. God damn it. But also, like, with FUGA 3 coming up, I want to know, like, where Socks comes into this. Because in Solitarobo, one of Sock's descendants is actually a part of the game. I forgot her name, but I know her last name is Million. And Sock's full name is Socks Million. He's also striving to be a scientist, inventor, to help make the world a better place. He even did mention people having, like, their own personal robots or something of the sort. So I like that they are referencing that. So it's really cool that Socks helps build at least the groundwork for the future. But also in the secret movie is where I'm starting to have kind of conflicting feelings, or certain thoughts here and there. So I had a few theories, and of course my controller falls to the ground again. This fucking cord, I hate it. I hate this goddamn cord. Ah! Stay! I can't wait till I make a compilation where it's just Dino yelling at his controller for falling onto the ground. Anyway, so some theories, pre-secret movie theories that I've had. Once we got the true ending, we learned that the TARANIS is back, but we also learned Malt had a brother. That is not a joke. You can look up the true ending and you will see it. Malt's brother emerges from the TARANIS now that it's back in the Forbidden Cave. We don't know. And I have to assume that Malt is actually the second oldest. Get demoted, Malt. Anyway. But we learned Malt had a brother. We knew he had parents. Unfortunately, they lost their lives, but never did the game mention that he had a brother. So of course, that threw me for a freaking loop when I first complete the game. I was so dumbfounded. So with the TARANIS back, my theories were Malt, quote, kind of either gets kidnapped or agrees to travel with his brother with the TARANIS for some unknown reason, and the children have to find and rescue Malt, in a sense. Because I have to assume Malt, just given a certain situation, I have a feeling Malt's brother is actually going to be one of the antagonists of the next game. Which kind of breaks my heart a little, because it's such a plot twist, and is even more of a plot twist that he may end up being an antagonist. But we don't know why. I wish I could just forward on ahead to cutscenes and whatnot. I'm not going to go onto YouTube and just take footage from that, because to me, that feels wrong. If I was doing a Try Not to Laugh challenge, that'd be one thing, because it's literally just a compilation of videos. But I'm not going to someone's YouTube channel and steal footage from that. I don't feel good about that. I don't. But I can confirm, Malt has a brother. He's somehow a part with the TARANIS. And then batshit crazy things will happen afterwards. And mind you, these are theories before I watched the secret movie. But my theories were either Malt goes with his brother or gets kidnapped by his brother, and the children have to use the TARANIS to search for him for whatever reason. I don't know. Because it's going to be some wild goose chase. Another theory was somehow Gasco or Berman brought the Belenos back to life, so it will just be Malt manning the Belenos, because the Belenos can only have one driver. While Malt's brother travels around in the TARANIS, and it's basically like a race to catch up, kind of like between Malt and the children and Jill. But there's just so many theories. Another theory is like the next game is going to take place in Berman, because while we have been in the Shepherd Archipelago and Gasco for a long while, we've never really seen Berman. We've never seen the Berman continent, so things may be a little different. I don't know. I don't know where the hell Gasco is in the Little Tail Bronx series map. I have zero idea. But I had a feeling Malt wasn't really going to be a part of the story, or at least a part of the crew. So Vanilla or Hana would take the place of Malt, and they would keep the judgment system. I will say, I like the judgment system and the leader skills. I thought they were excellent for this game. But that's really like all the theories I kind of had. Like, Berman was just one. But really, my focus was around like Malt's brother and Malt himself. What are you feeling towards a new playthrough of? FUGA 3. That's what, well, a playthrough, I don't know anymore. I'm just going off the rails. I'm just spouting nonsense and theories. But it would be interesting if we could control the Belenos, because we played through a little bit of the game with the TARASCUS and the Exo-TARANIS. So I thought it'd be interesting if somehow the Belenos would be back up and running in some way. But I have zero idea. Again, these are all just theories and ideas. But the secret movie, of course, literally threw everything out the window. And that's not even a joke. So I'm now going to shut up. I'm going to mute myself. And we're going to watch the secret movie again, because, my God, it is crazy. And also, the next game will be the finale of the FUGA trilogy, from what I've deduced, researched, and just looked up. Not deduced, mainly just research. I actually haven't seen this, so I'm curious. Alright. This is going to be an actual warning. If you have not, I know I've been spouting about spoilers and whatnot about the true ending, but for anyone who doesn't want to see, I do suggest leaving. Just for at least 1 minute. Or actually for the rest of the stream, because this is what we're going to be talking about. Because I have the ability to pause the movie, actually. Will I remember to? Probably not. Anyway. If anyone doesn't want spoilers for FUGA 3, now is the chance to leave. But here we go. I am starting the movie in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, shit apparently went from 0 to 100. No, 1,000. Yeah, I'm with you, Azure. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. So the stupid normal pause menu doesn't pop up. Okay. It's so insane. So this is basically what you get after clearing the FUGA 2 if you get the true ending. This is basically what you see. We just left several steps. Yeah, this is a teaser. This is technically a teaser for FUGA 3. By the way, there are some speculations on the name of Malt's brother. I looked it up by accident as I was looking for like references for the FUGA style artwork, like my PNG tuber. I cannot confirm. I can't confirm anything. But there are concept arts for Malt's brother, and I think the name might be Carmine. I have zero idea. I can't confirm anything. None of this is official. Who was that hot dude with the sword though? I don't know. of course that's where your eyes are at, Asher. But I'm sorry, that was a call out. That was a straight up call out. But to answer your question, I have zero idea. This is all new. We know nothing of this. But anyway, I can't confirm the name of Malt's brother, but there have been works, or at least not fan art, but fan works. Because we actually see kind of like a not really a full silhouette, but there's a shadow covering his face. But we do see some artwork, quote-unquote artwork of him in the true ending. Telling him malts have grown. May also seems to be fine. So at the very least, that is Malt's brother, because he does say and confirm that it's his brother. And Malt's brother does seem to... He seemed to be watching over Malt and May. but somehow he must have connections to the TARANIS, which I have zero idea. You're both getting on as I knew you would. All those years ago. Yeah, this is the part where I think he's one of the antagonists. Also, he does look a lot like Malt. I do not think it's Malt, though, that this is actually his brother, because Malt did call him brother, so... God, I don't fucking know. I don't know, because the TARANIS has the ability for time traveling, apparently. But he does say all those years ago. So there was an accident, or something that happened between the two. And May has no memory. She has no idea. Carmine Sandiego. I hate that you're actually nearly spot on, given the outfit that you see him at the true ending. God damn it, Azure. God damn it. Moving on. So we see this scene, minus the text that say, Malt opened his eyes to a scene of pure despair. Throughout the story, we learn a bit about the Berman. I have a feeling. Of course, there's an ad. You know what? I'll let the ad play. I'm gonna wait till the ad is finished, and we'll continue on. In the meantime, I'm gonna munch on a donut, because I'm a little hungry. Hang on, folks. I'm gonna mute so you don't hear the ASMR. Okay. As I was saying, before we were rudely interrupted by ads. But it's the truth, unfortunately. Anyway. As I was saying, I have a feeling FUGA 3 is going to take place in Berman. So I'm glad my theory on that one's kind of spot on. Sort of. Because I have a feeling this guy right here is the Emperor. Bomb and Stolen did mention that the Berman had an Emperor. The head honcho. Kind of like how Gasco had a president, Berman have an Emperor. And I have a feeling this is the guy. This is the Berman Emperor. I forgot his name. I know they mentioned it, but I forgot the name. But... oh, wait, hold on. I still need to... And then war breaks out again. And clearly we can see on the big ship, you can see the Berman logo. Or not logo, the insignia of Berman, which is literally Cerberus, or the three-headed dog. So we know this is Berman invading once again. They broke the peace treaty, claiming the lives of his friends. Now this is where the things take a turn. Whether Malt loses his friends, then again, this could be a vision. This could be a vision that the TARANIS can show. I have no idea. Like, is it just a vision? Or is this actually what will happen in the game? In the story? Because it says claiming the lives of his friends. And Malt does make a good point. This wasn't the future they gave everything to protect. Because this looks like Pharaoh, or at least the outskirts of Pharaoh, and the Berman laying waste to it. Alright, bad timing on the, bad timing on the pause, but if we took a little bit of a closer look, that looked like Boron. It looks like Boron before we see this guy, who I am unsure. And then there's Boron locks in. Boron has entered Super Saiyan mode. That's the mode above hero mode. And it says that child is the reincarnation of a legendary warrior. There is so much that is happening. So either this is like the true hero mode of the children, or this is something else. But then there's this. We see Hack and Chick. We bringing reincarnation into this. Great. Everyone's getting isekai'd. But this is disturbing. There's Chick and Hack. And then there's the text that says 98 left. I want to know what that means. I know the background, though. The background is Juno. Maybe a representation of child soldiers? Perhaps. That may be the case, but still, what the hell? The background's the Juno of the TARANIS. That has to be the Juno of the TARANIS. But at the same, I mean, yeah, they could. I don't know. But 98 left. I honestly thought it was gonna be like 98 colossal weapons like the Vanargand or TARANIS, Belenos, whatever the sort. But this, I don't know. I have zero idea what the hell is happening. But I do have a theory on this one. Oh shit. I'll have to go back and show that. And then of course there's Wappa, and then that's Malt. Wappa, of course, in our favorite spot. And then there's text that says, "This was once a great kingdom." And that's a new voice. So this is going to be a new character in the future game. So the children are back on the TARANIS. That's a fact. And then, of course, Wappa's grinning because she's probably got something cooking. More Leader Wappa bullshit. And then there's this. Now, this is probably a power of the no-no that Sheena can use. But I like to say this has to be tied to the Juno. Full Metal Alchemist. God damn it, I see it. God damn it. I hate that I see it too. But no, I have a feeling this is tied to the Juno and something else. There's something else to it. Like, everything about this is tied to the Juno. It has to be. But whatever will be brought with this, I have no idea. Oh, I thought this was Malt, but looking at the clothing, this is actually Kyle. And then they say we were set up from the start. So something has been guiding the children all along, this even before they encountered the TARANIS. Or probably right when they encountered the TARANIS. We don't know. And then there's this group of villagers that say this village is the birthplace of heroes. Either these are the people of Petite Mona, which I have a feeling it might actually be the case. So these must be the people of Petite Mona, or this is somewhere else. Because before it zooms in on the villagers, we saw Kyle, Hana, Malt, and Boron. That's why I have a strong feeling this scene is gonna be Petite Mona and the villagers saying farewell to the children once again for God knows what reason. And then this is not a part of Gasco. That's a fact. This has to be in Berman. This has to be a Berman city or a glimpse of the past in the old world. And then we see Flom. Flom is back. If this is... I mean, I have to assume this is Flom. Mainly because of the bandages, the hair, and of course, that stern, evil look in her eye. Also, that gun actually looks awesome. And also the words, "Why do I still live?" Because we all thought she died in FUGA. Well, one would assume she died in FUGA 1 after a few boss fights here and there. And the children beating her tank up again and again. We all thought she died in an explosion, but Jin has been taking care of her. So that has to be Flom. And of course, oh wait. Actually, now looking at a glance, I feel like these are Gasco soldiers. Mainly because of the little emblem on top of, like, the... Oh shit, what's... Pentagon? Pentagon shape? That looks like the Gasco. I knew it! I knew that was gonna be a reaction! Hi, Dash! I was just saying earlier, yeah, Dash is gonna be mad. Anyway, I feel like this is gonna be Gasco. This is Gasco. Gasco soldiers. Also, we see that there's a new tank. Oh wait, no, this is Berman. That's a Berman tank. I thought that was gonna be a colossal tank once again, but nope. That's just a normal Berman tank. And then we see who this isn't Maestro. This is someone new. But I'd like to say this is like a early concept of Maestro. With the text that says, well, time to make things right. A new beginning. Actually, now that I'm looking at this is not this can't be Maestro. But I would not be surprised if it was Maestro. A destined banner by the fires of defeat. So, the Soul Cannon and the TARANIS will return. That's a fact for FUGA 3. But my question is, how is the gameplay going to be? That I don't know. I mean, most likely it's going to be the same as FUGA 1 and 2. Most likely. But the TARANIS should have, like, some upgrades here and there. Something else, maybe. I don't know. It looks like the normal TARANIS to me. There's no new concept for it. And then there's this. What were the secret orders left behind in the TARANIS? And we see a glimpse of the Soul Cannon chamber. So there's something else inside of it. There's something else in the TARANIS that no one knows about. I don't think even Jill knew about it. And then, this has to be the old world. Given all like these explosions, battles, and all that. But there's also this new voice that I can't remember. And they ask, Malt, is this all my fault? That's a voice I'm not familiar with. Also, here! This scene right here! I know this place! This is actually in Solatorobo. This is Earth! So, at some point in the game, the children eventually return to Earth. But then someone says, no one had as much faith in our potential as he did. And then another voice saying, let's go home and save the world I left behind. I have a hunch. In Solatorobo, and now we're on the moon. Alright, I don't think it's the moon. Hear me out. That little orb right there, the orb, because that is not the moon. The moon does not have clouds. Nah, the world below, that's Earth, and their world. I want to say something like this was created, this big planet-looking thing in the center of the screen reminds me of Tartaros, which was the final destination in Solatorobo. But something else. Something else made by the Juno for sure, but it's either going to be the Tartaros or something else. Or something resembling the Tartaros. Or, who knows, it could be Mars. And then we come back to Malt. If you actually look really close, he's smirking. And then there's text, what option was left to Malt? The boy who lost everything. This is my story. Tartaros, Tarascus, and TARANIS. Yeah, it seems like they love the names that start with the letter T. But in this, I think this is what something happens because we know Hana and the others were alive, but something may happen to them that have claimed their lives. And then we leave at this with Malt with his like hero mode eyes and telling us the story of how I betrayed the world. And you can clearly see the evil smile on Malt's face. Something had to have happened. Which is really, really unsettling. I'm gonna start the movie again, and then head to the part where it had Hana. Right here. I have a theory that Jill may still be alive in a sense. Because in the background we see the Juno of the TARANIS, Belenos, whatever. we see something that resembles the Juno. And of course, that's Hana. But in the background, we see kind of like a ghostly figure of Gilles. Gilles gave his life to bring Hana back. And then there's text that says, it's not just me anymore. So, whether something awakens in Hana and we still have, like, Hana, but Gilles' back. For whatever reason, Gilles is back. Or Hana, in a sense, becomes, like, a hybrid herself. Like a full organic hybrid, so to speak. I don't know. Or she could have, like, some of Gilles' powers, because in order for, like, the Belenos to revive someone, there needs to be biodata. And he said Hana's biodata was still within the Belenos. And Gilles gave up his life, pretty much his entire being, to bring Hana back. So that's why I want to say, like, maybe in a sense, like, it's still Hana, but somehow Gilles and Hana merged together. That's what I'm getting from this particular scene. But also, hybrids cannot really be claimed by the Soul Canon. That's a fact, actually. Want proof? Talk to Gilles. He survived. But I have so many questions. And then there's this guy. I really want to say it's Maestro, but at the same time, the mask is different. It's not really like a plague doctor. I hope we get to see the children older, even if it's just like part of the ending artwork. that would be pretty cool to see. I've actually been thinking of like drawing a lot of these kids as like adults. Like kind of like how I drew Luca and the cast of like, or at least the main characters from Beacon Pines. Like Luca being like a professor, kind of like his father. I forgot the others' names. But no, I thought just some fan concepts here and there. I thought about it. Just never really committed to the sketches. But goddamn. There's still so many questions and mysteries. And I cannot wait for FUGA 3 to come out. The release date is still unknown, but as we can see, FUGA 3 is confirmed. Has to be confirmed. Because there's no way in hell we're going to be left at an ending like that. And I am excited. Oh boy. Also, we have the story recap. And again, that's just like a recap from the first game. Holy shit. This game, this series is a roller coaster, and I love every single bit of it. CyberConnect really did a great job creating games like these. I don't want off the wild ride. Neither do I. I want to stay on this wild ride because it's insane. So I do have a feeling, well, just a feeling. Part of the story has to take place in Berman. Because it would make sense. We've been all over Gasco. We've been through all of the Shepherd Archipelago version of Gasco. And we know Berman's like a different continent or island that's like way off. Yeah, I have so many theories, so many like hunches here and there. But we didn't really get to see much about Malt's brother. And that's kind of like the mystery I want to find out. I want to know the mystery between Malt and his brother. Because May certainly doesn't know. May has zero idea that she has another brother. She was like small when she lost her parents. And she hardly remembers her parents. So there's no way in hell she'd remember Malt's, I'm gonna say older brother. But I want to know, like, what does Malt's brother have to do with the TARANIS? Why was he there on the TARANIS? What the hell is happening? I wonder if they will get new designs and if they'll add a new kid to the party. I mean, if they're gonna add it... If I'm wrong about Malt's brother being the antagonist, I'm willing to bet the new kid to the party will be, Malt's brother. As for new designs, it kind of looks like they're just going to be using, like, the same outfits as they have in this game. Just from the looks of it. I don't know. Because Malt still had, like, the Gasco jacket. I mean, Hana might have a different outfit. I don't know. But Kyle looked like he still had his outfit. Boron also looked like he still had his outfit. But I will not deny that Malt may at some point have had turned traitor. At some point in the story. Like, something snaps within Malt. Kind of like how he was with Jill after he lost Hana. Something in him snaps. And he because he does say, this is my story. This is the story of how I betrayed the world. So something happens to Malt for him to say that line. And to be fair, you can't end the movie with like Malt in hero mode with an evil smirk. Along with a text that says the story of how I betrayed the world and not have it be Malt. Villain Malt. Maybe. There are some theories that may just be like an alternate timeline, because, I mean, it would be possible with the TARANIS, but at the same time, not really into that kind of theory. It's okay to have, like, alternate timelines and multiverses. I'm cool with that. But, like, in this scenario, nah. Nope. You can't go from, like, 1 and 2, and then 3 somehow an alternate timeline. That would just mess everything up. We would basically be having, like, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and the Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland Spider-Man. That kind of scenario. It'd just be No Way Home all over again. Oh my god. There is so much that's gonna happen in the third game, and I cannot wait. My final theory. FUGA 3 will be releasing soon. It has to be releasing soon. Next year, I'm willing to bet. I am willing to bet next year, 2025, is when FUGA 3 will be out. If it's gonna be like kind of like the I'm just gonna say like Sonic the Hedgehog, how the movies are coming out 2 years later. FUGA 1 was released in 2021. FUGA 2 was released last year, 2023. I have a feeling it will be released. FUGA 3 will be released in 2025. I am willing to bet. If not, then that means CyberConnect 2 is cooking something. Whether it's gonna be new or just something. Excuse me. But oh my god. I'm in suspense. I want to play more. I really want to play more, but at the same time, that ain't gonna happen, Chief. I'm gonna play this game on my downtime, just trying to quote-unquote unlock everything as much as I can. Because there are some things I want to learn. There's some things I want to see. And unlock, because apparently I haven't unlocked everything yet. You've certainly reignited my hype for the third game. I'm glad. And honestly, I think a lot of people should at least give these games a try. FUGA 1 is good. I like the gameplay mechanics of FUGA 1 more than FUGA 2. Actually, scratch that. I like the story of FUGA 1 better. Personally, I like the first story better. FUGA 2 was great. It was a roller coaster of emotions and made me cry a lot. I'm not gonna deny. FUGA 2 made me cry a lot. Because it was unexpected. It was the first time ever. And then, but I kind of like FUGA 1 because, like, everyone is, like, getting to know each other. And just, like, it just feels more of fate drawing them together than FUGA 2 did. But FUGA 2 has the best gameplay mechanics, or at least an improved version of 1. And honestly, I love it. I love the airship parts, especially where, like, you can air raid, shop, transport, which is actually really interesting and fun. But air raids, 10 out of 10. Makes things so much easier. Villain Dino arc? No. That's another timeline. Anyway. What else? I also like the leader skills. I think the leader skills were a huge improvement. Especially with Malt being like the center stage of all this. The leader skills were amazing. I hope they keep the judgment system, but make it more like you lean towards one and you in the ending actually gets affected by it, other than just getting a special epilogue. As for the TARANIS, I have no idea what it's gonna be. Is it just gonna be the same old TARANIS that we had in FUGA 1, but with Malt having like the leader skill abilities? Or will something happen to the TARANIS like it did with the TARASCUS? Merge and evolve. Will we get like the Belanos version of the TARANIS? Because that seems to be a trend. I don't know, machines merging with other machines happens to be a trend in this game. It would be interesting, but I wouldn't know how it would work. But I don't know. I do not know. And I don't have the slightest clue either. But I'm excited. I am excited for FUGA 3. And I hope it gets released soon. That's what I hope. Really is into the unknown. Agreed. But also, it makes me want to play Solitaire Robo even more because, like, CyberConnect 2 did confirm, like, the FUGA series and Solitaire Robo have zero real connections other than the world and the area where the stories take place. That's like the only relations. Other than that, like FUGA 2, well, FUGA and Solitarobo are in different time zones. Well, not time zones, timelines. One's in the very far future. FUGA, as I keep saying, is nothing but a prelude to Tail Concerto and Solitarobo. And apparently something else involving another island, also part of the not CyberConnect, Little Tail Bronx, that's the word. There's another, but it's more of like a safety comic sort of thing, as well as like other games that are unrelated. But I do hope FUGA 3 will be an intense game as this one. I just want something else other than... I'm okay with like turn-based in FUGA. I like the turn-based stuff. What I don't really like is just after playing FUGA 1, then going to 2, where it's just constantly side-scrolling with the tank. I want a little bit more... I personally would like a little more adventure. Like, take control of the characters and wander around the world a little bit outside the tank. Because, like, I understand, FUGA is about the TARANIS and the children. I am aware. But it would be cool if we had, like, the children wander outside the TARANIS and we can actually interact with the world. Like Solitarobo. And Tail Concerto. I don't mind the battles with the TARANIS. Those are fun. I enjoy those. Gives me a good chance to actually strategize something. But, like, I like to explore a little more. More exploration, more story, more vastness of this world, because it's amazing. That's what I hope for FUGA 3. A little bit, not exactly open world, but also, like, just more exploration options and more to battle than just what we've been doing in the first 2 games. I forgot what else I was gonna say. Oh yeah. As for Solitarobo, I do hope it gets a remake one day. I will be sad if I'm gonna be 6 feet under when it does get a remake. But I hope. There is future for Solitarobo. Mainly for the fans of FUGA and Solitarobo. Little Tail Bronx fans, really. Even the developers say, like, there is potential. There's just going to be a lot of, like, reworks and all that stuff. So, which, understandable, because Solitarobo was primarily for the DS because of the touchscreen function as well. But, oh well. All we can do is hope. And just looking at the secret movie, Malt's gonna need all the hope he can get. Also, got a little bit of extra time before I have to head out and also tune in to Work Along Wednesday. Either just to listen or pop into the VC, although, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. Either way, we got a few minutes before Work Along Wednesday with Mythics happens. So I'm actually going to be eating donuts and right into Mythics' channel if she is going to be doing Work Along. But I'm happy to answer any questions. In the meantime, I'm going to snack on some donuts because I'm hungry. Oh, it will be starting a bit later? Okay. I wouldn't know because I can't see Discord notifications. I can't see Discord notifications while OBS is live and running, so... I don't know. I mean, I could start the resolution run. I'm gonna look, by the way. Thank you for the fun time. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this dumb fox rant on about a game that he loves so much. I'm just happy we got the secret movie. That was really, like, the true goal of playing through this game. Getting the secret movies. And my god, it was worth it. So worth it. I'm really glad we got it. I might as well just play a little bit of Fuga 2 one last time, just to add more to like the video stream commentary. Try to do like the full resolution instead of just like everything. Might as well. And who knows, I actually might unlock everything else. But yeah, I'm okay to answer some like little questions here and there. I can answer the best as I can. But really, some of them may be just like half-assed answers. Hmm.
手伝おうか。手伝わせて。できたよ。どうだ。手伝わせて。私手伝う。ヒーローさん。できたよ。やったぞ。ヒーローさん。できたよ。ヒーローさん。私手伝おうか。できたよ。やったぞ。行こう。よかった。追跡目標タラニスに接近。もうすぐ戦闘距離に到達。ついに子供たちはタラニスを目前に捉えた。タラニスに近づくにつれ子供たちに緊張が走る。なあ。うん。あ。タラニスが転進し、こちらへの攻撃態勢に移行している。なんだって？うん。
Okay. God damn. I wonder what the dialogue is if I mess this up. Well, that's haunting. That was a really haunting sound.
Yosh. 沈黙したタラニスにタラスクスが接近したその時、タラニスは光に包まれた。
特殊な力で急速に損傷箇所を自己再生させている。
Been rated to dash before work along Wednesday. I'm tempted. Or just go invade her in a public stream. And again, it is public. I'm gonna go bug her. Hang on. Nerd.
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 Nerd. What's up?
I am attempting to make a poster and I'm failing miserably.
Oh, no.
That's also because I don't know how to use this freaking program. Also, my stream keeps crashing because my internet hates me, so...
Oh, that does suck.
What are you doing?
Just playing FUGA before work along starts.
Oh.
My theorizing and rant is done.
Okay. There you are. If you over. That way I'm not smacking you. There we go. Fucking copy the. You already copied it. Copy it again. Keep copying it. Yeah. I did it again. Aha.
Aha.
ラニスがゆっくりと動き出し、子供たちに背を向けた。
Actually, do that.
伝送によるエネルギー消費によりオーバーヒート発生。
I mean, have a rectangle.
エネルギー回復まで移動は不可能。
くそ。
Anything I could do.
失いかけた
No.
仲間を一人救うことができた。今はただその喜びをかみしめる子供たちであった。一方その頃、
は
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I've changed my mind. We're gonna raid into Dash. I've got nothing else. So as I said, so for real this time. This is gonna be my last stream of the year. This bonus stream was just something I had the chance to do, but for real, this is gonna be my last for the year. I will be back in January, hopefully. In the meantime, let us go raid Le Goose, also known as Dash. She has no idea. That be right back is a lie. Give me a moment, folks. Alright. Let's go raid the burb. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around on this incredible journey. I love FUGA, and if you haven't picked it up yet, I highly suggest you go play the game yourself, because it is amazing. So many, so many ways you can partner up the children and make your attacks even more powerful, more effective, and just the story and watching the characters grow throughout the game is amazing. I love it. I love these games. I love them so much. I hope you guys do give it a try if you get the chance, when you get the chance, because my god, the story is worth it. It is worth every penny. Alright, let's go raid our burb friend. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a lovely Thanksgiving, Halloween, New Year's, Christmas, all the above. I'll see you all next year. And as always, peace out!